Hello there and welcome to my channel. I am Ashley Marshall and I will be doing a tarot card reading for the signs by rising, all 12 signs of the zodiac, but you can of course watch for sun and moon as well. And the theme of this reading will be what we are being called to release this solar eclipse in Sagittarius that will happen this evening at 11:43 Pacific time, my time. I will tell you what house this will land for you by rising, but I also recommend that you look to 12 degrees Sagittarius in your chart. That is where this eclipse will be taking place. For more information, and that may adjust the house for you. This reading is based on whole house systems, but looking to 12 degrees in your chart at Sagittarius and Placidus can give you some different information. For instance, I'm Aries rising, so this eclipse by whole sign would be happening in my 9th house, but when I look to 12 degrees Sagittarius in my chart, it's actually happening in my 8th house. So whatever you prefer, whatever resonates with you, if you're like me, you may want to take all of the information and see, what's feeling best. Okay. I was thinking about starting with Sagittarius, but I heard a very clear call to start with Aries. So we are going to go ahead and start at the beginning. And for Aries rising, as I said, this solar eclipse is going to happen in your 9th house. So that's house of publishing, of long distance travel, of higher education, and not just long distance travel physical, which many of us may not be able to do at the moment because of certain restrictions, but of the mind, right? So looking to that house for any clues on what's coming, what you may need to release. I do want to say with eclipses, we typically, it's better not to do any rituals and just kind of let the eclipse do its thing. Cleansing, releasing is something we can do, and that's why I've themed this reading on what we may need to release and let go. So Aries, 2 cards for you. Queen of Earth, thoughtful, creative, warm, sensible. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach. Deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. And Earth in relationship to tarot is Pentacles. Okay, so what I'm really hearing here is, how have you been handling challenges? How have you been handling challenges in relationship, to others? Aries can be quite a forceful sign. They can be blunt, right? Even if they don't always mean to hurt anybody, sometimes they can with their delivery. So maybe releasing any anger, right? Any bluntness, any judgment, and I'm really hearing that it's coming maybe from a place of protection of yourself, that you have created these barriers between you and other people as protection. But Queen of Earth here is a reminder that you can still be powerful, a powerful leader without having to approach it in this defensive, almost angry manner, right? Dealing with challenges, dealing with situations with other people. Maybe you have an issue. Maybe there's a deep pain that you need to communicate to friends or family. And it is possible to be thoughtful about your delivery, okay? You also got, Aries rising, life experience, Archangel Kemuel, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, a significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change. Spread your wings. I'm going to go ahead and look at the image there. And I'm really feeling like paired with this card, in tandem with this card, that it's when you can bring a new thought process to the way that you are approaching people, to the way that you are building, putting up boundaries, that can lead to this powerful change. Okay? Eclipses do often mark significant life changes. Since this is 9th house for you, you may be called to a new area of study. You may be called to teach. Someone may be reaching out, possibly from overseas, right? Because long distance travel is ruled by the 9th house, to offer you a teaching position. Someone may contact you to be their mentor. Okay, that's also ruled by the 9th house. Really, there's lots of butterflies here and the angel with the wings being spread. So not being afraid to adjust your approach with others, not being releasing the fear that you have around. And I'm Aries rising, so maybe I'm personalizing this. I was thinking about it earlier today. I tend to be very protective of myself and approach matters with other people that way, but we can still erect boundaries. We can still hold boundaries thoughtfully, kindly, compassionately. Doesn't mean that we let people, run over us and trample over us, right? But it means that we think things out. We're sensible. Aries sometimes can be very rash, right? And impulsive. So taking the time to sit with what it is that you actually want to communicate, okay? Yeah, and that may be part of your revelation, is how you're approaching things and people, how you're approaching these relationships. Because if we are coming from a place of anger and protection constantly, sometimes we really push people away who would be otherwise, guided toward us. I want to see if there's any other buzzwords for these relatable words in the book. It's something that I like to look to. Nothing there that stands out or I'm feeling called to. Yeah, this can be a lot about suddenly seeing the truth, right? Having a revelation around something, which is very eclipse style. So again, it may be around, 9th house is also about spirituality, religion, personal truth. So you may have a big revelation. I know I have this past year, over your own personal spiritual beliefs, okay? But as you are sharing them with others, as you're experiencing this revelation and change, it doesn't mean that we have to, for lack of a better way to say it, we don't have to be mean about these changes and how we are sharing these with others, right? All right, so Aries, more specifically rising, but sun and moon too. And now we're going to move on to Taurus. Taurus rising, this eclipse is going to occur for you in the 8th house, so shared resources, also famously known as sex, death, and taxes house. Maybe dealing with issues of mortality. It doesn't really have to, you know, when people hear the word death, it could be death of your former self, death of your former spiritual beliefs, because it is Sagittarius themed, right? Which rules that. You may be seeing a big windfall from, you know, taxes that were not expected. So Taurus rising, sun and moon as well. The wheel, Archangel Michael. A time of positive change, a situation suddenly moves forward. Fortune is on your side. So really taking that image in, it's seeing what comes to mind for you. This house can also rule any kind of like, in 7th house too, collaborations, business partnerships. So maybe there has been a change in your business. Maybe there's been a lot of lag. I'm feeling for a lot of Tauruses, it's been like a process of something, and this eclipse may really push forward where it needs to go, okay, or change the momentum. And, you know, I'm seeing it move forward. I'm seeing it be a positive thing for you. You know, sometimes the universe will move things forward for us that we haven't been able to move forward for ourselves, right? Yeah, I feel like many Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising heavy Taurus people have been in the process of like doing something, but it has not had a lot. It has not had a lot of a momentum. It's just been kind of at a standstill, which is frustrating, right? So this eclipse can really help move things along, I feel, for you. Yeah, let's see what other word associations there are here. Oh, I love that. A happy accident, a miracle, a twist of fate, right? Archangel Michael is a very protective angel. It helps give you courage and confidence if you need it. 2022 is going to be a big year for you, Taurus. Sun, Moon, and Rising. Sorry. I sat on this the other day and I'm like picking leaves off of it still. Anyway, very Taurus earthy of me, right? To have leaves on me. Oh, what was I going to say? Yeah, happy accident, a miracle, a twist of fate. I really feel like, Taurus, you could use that. I feel like I'm just getting the energy that it maybe have been a tough year for many of you. Like a lot of standstill, a lot of going through a process of something, but it's just taking a lot of time, or it's taking a lot of your effort, or it's been painful, a painful process. And so I really see this ending. The nodes are also shifting, right? From Gemini, Sagittarius to Taurus. So very big year for Taurus on the horizon, 2022 and even I think 2023. I feel like many Tauruses are being called to step into a new way of being, okay? And, you know, in whatever way that manifests for you. And again, 8th house is shared resources, so it may be that you are parting from a past business relationship or relationship. Maybe there's an end to those shared resources, and maybe that's caused you some anxiety, but I really see that needed to end, possibly. And look, take what resonates and leave the rest. I would never say that parting ways with people is incredibly painful, and I'm not one to tell you what you need to take away from it. But I'm feeling that whatever the situation is ending in order for you to make your own resources, create your own resources based on your talent. Maybe you have been too dependent on someone else's resources, and this is kind of eclipse universe way of saying, no more. It's time for you to stand on your own. Or the reverse. Maybe somebody has been too reliant upon your resources, and that is coming to a close. Okay? I love this for you, Taurus, because I feel like it's your year coming up, and good energy. All right? So Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm not going to do upside down cards here, so sometimes I will, but we're not doing that. So if it comes out upside down, we're turning it right back up. Okay, Gemini. This eclipse, solar eclipse in Sagittarius, is going to be in your 7th house of committed partnerships. That's also business contracts, any contracts that you have signed or that you are involved in, okay? So possible shifts and changes there. Oh, we didn't really talk about what you need to release. I think for Taurus, that was loud, fear of the unknown. Because many of you are going to be stepping into new roles and new ways of life. However, you can try to begin to change your mental thought process, creating affirmations for yourself, releasing fear of the unknown, and releasing attachment that you have to other people's resources or they have to yours. All right, Gemini, you got 2, 6 of fire, and yeah, 6 of fire. Victory, good news is on its way, public recognition or awards. So just drinking in that image. And suit of fire here in the relationship to the tarot is suit of wands. Even though we're in 7th house, I do feel for Geminis that this is, public recognition for work through business partnership. So on or around this eclipse, you may be approached about working with somebody else. And I'm hearing, yes, of course, do your research and look into it and make sure it resonates and all those good things. But I'm hearing that it would be a good partnership, a good connection. Maybe you want to reach out. Maybe releasing the fear of thinking that you have nobody to reach out to work with you, right? Gemini's destiny, I don't know, some people say in astrology, the two-face image of Gemini is that they're always looking for their other half, their other partner. And maybe it is, especially with this eclipse in the 7th house, maybe you're in search of a business partnership, a life partnership. And I'm hearing releasing the fear on you putting yourself out there, on you being the one who approaches someone about a collaboration. That's the word I was looking for. Okay? Yeah. You also got the High Priestess, Archangel Haniel. Listen to your intuition, have patience, consider carefully what you want before acting. Okay, so that really goes with this partnership. I'm hearing, yes, that the person who reaches out to you or the person that you're thinking about reaching out to for collaboration is a good partnership and connection. However, lean into your own intuition about it, okay? Consider everything carefully. Consider if it really ties into your greater goal, okay, for yourself. Contracts, really research. I'm hearing that loudly. Research anything before you sign anything on or around this eclipse, okay? So that's what I'm really hearing paired together. Since I looked for other words. For the rest of the cards, I will do the same thing. Yeah, there's this energy of like a little bit too, like you maybe don't prematurely share that you're doing this collaboration before you've done your research and stuff. Gemini, I can say it because I'm Gemini moon. You want to tell everybody everything, announce everything, right? But taking a beat before you do that sounds really important here. And any other words from Six of Fire? Yeah, confidence, feeling good about yourself, feeling good about this connection. Just remember tapping into that intuition, because here's the thing. Also hearing, like, release the fear that if you say no to a specific collaboration because it doesn't feel right for you, that you're not going to get more offers. You will. When we lean into what is really resonant for us, we're rewarded by the universe, right? I mean, we're not punished when we don't. We just will learn more lessons, right? So really leaning into your resonance, your intuition. I'm also hearing, like, if you're into human design, looking up your human design and seeing how you know when something is right for you or not. Like, for instance, mine is when something is wrong for me, it's frustration. I feel things through the gut instinct. I think we all do, but some people are more emotional based and they should base it on their emotions. I'm a non-emotional, so if I base it on my emotions, it might be somebody else's emotion, because non-emotionals take in other people's emotions as their own. So Gemini rising, Sun and Moon, 7th house of committed partnerships and contracts. I'm hearing, you didn't say enough about romantic partnerships. Also, if you get a marriage proposal, I know it's not like very popular, but maybe taking a beat. Will you marry me? Can I think about it? I don't know if that would play out right, but maybe thinking about it now beforehand. If you are watching this and this resonates and you feel like there may be a marriage proposal on the horizon for you, and sometimes eclipses take time to pan out. But if you feel like there is a proposal on the horizon, doing research, the research for that comes within, right? And seeing if that is really what's right for you and where you want to go. And again, I'm hearing really releasing the fear of that if I say no to this, nothing else will come. As a Gemini moon, that hit me a little. Okay. So that was Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. More specifically Rising, because we're talking about houses, right? Cancer. This is going to be this eclipse will occur in your 6th house of, daily ritual, routine, pets, daily grind. Also health and nutrition. No, that's not for them. So anything in that area of life may be highlighted. Maybe it's already highlighted. All right, you got one, but I'm hearing that I need to like these more. Okay. Cancer, Queen of Fire, confident, warm, intelligent, graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. So just drinking in that image. First thing I felt and heard was, if you want to change your day job, Cancer, I mean, I know that sometimes it takes a process and all of that. Like, you're really being supported by the universe. Cancer also really has a tendency to constantly put others first. So if that's still something that's going on, releasing that, because it can and will affect your health. 6th house, right? I don't want to scare anybody, but making sure your own cup is filled first, making sure you put on the life vest on a plane. I am a Cancer, I have a stellium in Cancer, and that whole idea to me, I remember when I used to hear that, or the first time I heard that, I'm like, but what about everybody else? And, you know, does it make sense to put it on them first? No, it doesn't. And I think Cancer has a really hard time doing that. So what I'm hearing is, you know, 6th house is really about rituals. Even if it's just getting up, for some reason I'm seeing like candles and also cleansing herbs, which is really helpful because we're releasing with this eclipse, right? So releasing the need to constantly put others first before your own health, before your own routine. Maybe I'm talking to myself, right? I will do that, you know. I'll wake up and take my dog James for a walk, and when we get home I'll feed him first, and then sometimes it hits me and I'm like, oh, I don't feel well, I need to eat, I haven't had any water. Excuse me, which is another really good tip for this eclipse, to cleanse, especially with lemon water, bathing in salt water, okay? Also, like, look at the image. She's just, they're such a badass, right? They're sitting in their knowing of badassery and creativity, and I'm also going back to the daily grind and work is really hearing, like, you don't know how awesome you are. You don't know how unique you are. You don't know how much you have to offer, and maybe this daily grind that you're in is draining you. If you're not still at an old job, what I'm hearing is if you've already moved into entrepreneurship or you're moving into your dream job, I don't know why I just heard this. Are your pets holding you back? Not holding you back, but holding you back in the sense that I just mentioned. Are you taking care of everybody in the household first? If you haven't seen results or you feel like things aren't moving forward, that could be why. Rearranging your routine, creating a ritual, going back to the light and herbs and candles, even just waking up in the morning, lighting a candle, taking a deep breath of that candle and blowing it out and going on with your day. Something for you before you get into something for everybody else. Okay, does that make sense? You can leave a comment below and let me know. Yeah, and asserting your independence here is saying no. Saying no to, 6th house also rules coworkers and bosses. Saying no to them if you need to, right? I'm going to look up some other words, anything that pops out that I missed. Yeah, trusting your intuition. I think for the greater good or for other people, Cancers will really silence that, and then that's when we really hit burnout, okay? Also really a call for balancing home and career, which I think really is perfect for 6th house stuff, right? If you're trying to get this business going, this creation going, this project, this entrepreneurship, whatever it is, there could be a need to balance, right? And eclipses will bring that to you, whether you like it or not sometimes. So maybe preparing that beforehand. Also represents a desire to be recognized, and I'm hearing like, yes, you deserve, now is your time. Now is your time to be recognized. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. If I let my Cancer stellium rule me, I would never share anything with any of y'all, because I'm always like, you know, I still go through that thing of regret. And am I supposed to be doing this? And, you know, who am I to do this? But it's a good thing I have that Aries rising always coming in and being like, yeah, bitch, you do. Okay? I think that's all for Cancer. All right, Cancer rising, but sun and moon, I'm talking to you too. Leo, this is going to happen in your own house, your 5th house of children, romance, creativity. So it could hit on the kids in your life, or the idea of bringing new kids into your life. It also rules any recreation, play, fun, and creativity for self, not for profit. But that's up for you to decide. Okay, 2 of fire, getting lots of fire. We started with an earth, and now, yeah, moving into fire. Okay, so maybe lots of action. It makes sense with this eclipse, right? And it's also in a fire sign, Sagittarius. But again, eclipses don't always necessarily ask you to take action. They will take action for you. Hey, buddy. So 2 of fire for Leo, rising, sun, and moon. You have come into your own new partnerships or contracts. Continue moving forward. First thing I heard with this is maybe some of your unexpected romances. You want your blanket up there, buddy? I was talking to my dog. Maybe some of your unexpected, or maybe some of your romances, you know, because 5th house rules like not those committed things, but maybe some of those, someone you've been dating, someone you've been loosely involved with, you're going to become more serious with. Yeah, possible new contracts. That's a dragon. I'm reading unicorn books, and it's got a little bit about dragons in there, and what I learned was that there are angels, and there are unicorns, and there are dragons, and they're kind of always there for us. So I do want to mention, if you've been having dreams or images of dragons, that means they're trying to connect to you, speak with you. We all have our own personal dragons. I forget specifically, I'm like looking around for my book, oh well, what dragons help you with, but look it up. I'm reading The Magic of Unicorns by Diana Cooper, and recommended by an amazing oracle and tarot reader. Look it up. I don't remember. If you feel called to, you don't have to. But I'm feeling it may be helpful for you. I love that goofy look on the dragon's face, like looking at him. And that to me is like, that's his dragon. You have your own personal support system. Looking to them for help, for guidance, calling on them, okay? Continue to move forward if there have been any creative endeavors that you started and stopped on, maybe picking those up again. And for as what you need to release, let me see if I can get some clarity on this. Kind of releasing what Leo's always asked to be release, I feel like. That idea that you putting yourself out in the world is egotistical, right? Releasing the fear of judgment around you owning your you-ness, right? You have come into your own. You're coming into your own. I'm also hearing like maybe recently there have been decisions or thoughts around children, working with children, having children, and it's not been maybe socially accepted, and releasing that because you know what's right for you. You know what you want. You know when you're ready for something, okay? You're a fire sign. I'm having trouble with the partnerships and contracts, so I wonder if some of the extra words will help it come through. opening up to working with a team or a group of people, okay? I'm hearing would be helpful for you, combining efforts. You don't always have to be in charge. I don't know, that just came to me. And you may be approached on or around this eclipse with with contracts, with new partnerships. And I am really hearing it may be from people that were unexpected. Again, going back to love, someone that you've been dating or maybe that you've not been serious with may become serious. And really stepping into your own weirdness, your own identity of self. Like maybe lately you've been thinking about a creative project or a business or something that you want to do, but you're kind of having that thought about everybody else is doing it. And how am I going to do it in my own unique way? So doing what you need to do to tap into that and releasing any fear that you carry around being just another person doing the same thing, because what you offer is completely unique and different. Okay? I feel like again, I'm in there. I just want to see what the book said. There is this, like, I think Leo likes to project that they don't care what other people think, but there are probably, if not the most sign that needs, especially Leo moons, need affirmation. It's okay to need affirmation. If you're not getting affirmation from the romantic partnerships in your life, okay. Sorry. If you're not getting that, then considering different groups, right? Different people, different partnerships that will provide that for you. I'm also hearing affirm the children in your life. Maybe you don't think you have kids in your life and you're like, whoops, I forgot I was a godparent. I don't see them that much. Or, your neighbor's kids. It takes a village, right? No matter what. I read somewhere once, like, there will never be enough people in a child's life, unfortunately. We can try, because kids need, that look at me phase. I feel like when people have heavy Leo in their chart, they need that, and it's maybe they didn't get enough of it in childhood. You got to really look in the chart or talk to them to see. But releasing the fear of needing the affirmation. I'm also hearing, like, as an adult or parent or person in a child's life, releasing the fear that if you give, there is no over affirming. You're not gonna, like, make a kid too soft by over affirming that. I think there's a lot of that, like, chatter and belief that goes on, and that ain't it. Like, that is not it. The more affirmation kids get early on in their life, the better that they will do, and they will grow into smart, confident human beings that have self-worth, okay? So sharing that, not being afraid to share that, not being afraid to not demand or expect. Surround yourself with others who provide that for you, Leo. You love to take the stage. Even if you don't, you may secretly, especially if you're like Leo moon, you may secretly want that, okay? And this is really like saying, it's okay to give yourself what you want. You are safe to step out on the stage. If you have any Leo in your chart, especially heavy Leo, you're meant, in my opinion, to put yourself out there in some way. Maybe not necessarily public life. I was going to say public life, but, it manifests different for everybody. But you're meant to be out there, right? You're meant to lead. You're meant to receive affirmation. You are meant to feel good about that. So with the eclipse, releasing any self-judgment or outer chatter that you hear and receive around needing affirmation. We all need it. We all need it. And it's a basic human right, desire, and need. And if you're not getting it, maybe, starting to think about where you can. One of the great ways, I was talking about it in my new program that I've created, Roots Rewoven, which are one-on-one sessions where I help people heal inherited trauma resolution, generational trauma, is that if we're not getting it from our family, through visualization and connecting to past ancestors, we can see and feel so supported. I also was telling someone in a reading the other day, if you don't feel supported, mirror affirmations, right? To support yourself and affirm yourself. If you really feel like you're lacking support, sitting, or even better, laying on the ground or directly on earth or leaning on a tree, right? Knowing that no matter what, and it's not the same, but you can build up your confidence doing these things because it's a reminder to yourself, to your core, to your child within, that you are supported by something, even if it's not where you're seeking it from. And if it's not, I'm so sorry, and I'm validating that for you. You deserve it. But starting with the ground, the earth, okay, that are always there to support you. Okay, we're moving on to Virgo. This eclipse will occur in your 4th house, so home and current environment that you're in, but also early life, so childhood, and also parents. I recently did I was a guest host in a workshop for Samhain, and we talked all about the 4th house, 4th and 10th, because in astrology, in some aspects of astrology, you could really make a case for anything, anywhere, maybe. Well, not anything, anywhere. But anyway, some people believe the mother or the mother figures in the 4th house, or the father figures in the 10th. Sometimes father figure in 10th, mother figure in 4th. So whatever resonates with you on that. Could be changes to your home situation. Okay? Renewal, Archangel Jeremiel. I might be butchering that. Review and evaluate. A favorable assessment of the facts. Time to move in a new direction. Funny, before I got into this card, my first thought was possible unexpected changes to your home situation. Right? Reviewing and evaluating your home situation. Reviewing and evaluating anything that's bubbling up from the past around your upbringing, right? Any developmental trauma. And being ready to work through that, to move on. Okay? Lots of fire, lots of major arcana cards. Interesting. What's working within the home and outside of the home? What's working or not working with your parents or your guardians or your, mother and father figure in your life? What shifts do you feel like you need, or did there need to be? Releasing, I'm hearing that releasing, because that's the theme of this, releasing any expectations that you have around having to care for, having to do the emotional labor for the adults in your life, most likely parents, parental figures. Because it's 9th house, or Sagittarius rules, which rules the 9th house, it could be a shift and an unlearning of what you learned from them. It could be a shift and in unlearning spiritual beliefs that you're like, I just no longer jive with that. Maybe you want to bring new spiritual or religious practices into the home, I'm hearing too. Maybe who you see as God, who you would like your family to worship, or what is changing, is different, okay? Which is kind of a big theme for everyone, because again, spirituality and religion is ruled by Sagittarius, and eclipses are a lot about shifts and changes there, okay? I do see it as a positive change. Of course, what's positive for you is not always initially welcomed by others. So maybe releasing the fear of the responses and the reactions that may come up when you tell your family that you're no longer going to church, or you tell your family that you're going to start going to church, right? Really owning that personal decision. Let's see if there's any additional words that we want to tap into. I'm also, so it's talks about a career job or change. Maybe you're going to be working from home, fourth house. Maybe you were out working outside the home, and now you're going to be working at home, or vice versa. Maybe you were working at home and now you're going back out. I'm hearing more like the other way, but whatever resonates. And it's time. It is time. Maybe you've been putting it off. Eclipses often have that energy of just bringing in the change, right? So always really leaning into the idea that what's coming is for your best and highest good, and you can even pray on that, or say that, or write it out, tell your angels, speak it to the sky, right? Can be helpful. Yeah. Releasing judgment on any changes that you want to make to your home, to how you practice your spirituality in your home. I'm also hearing to how you raise your children, also how you choose to approach healing the inner child, or healing any developmental trauma, or if you decided you have a really rocky relationship with your parents or one of your parents, and you're deciding that you cannot any longer communicate with them at the moment. And yeah, I'm really hearing, like a therapist, a coach could be really supportive of that. Another major arcana, goodness. Can be really supportive of that. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. Especially because Virgos have that tendency that will beat themselves up. So getting that support where every day you go to them and you're reminded, because sometimes that's what it takes. If you're being, I spoke about this yesterday in my Instagram stories, if you're being consistently gaslit and invalidated, it may take a lot of ungaslighting and validation to your truths to really feel at peace with it, okay? I'm hearing like making sure you're spending more time with those supportive people that support your truth, and less time with the people that don't, okay? Libra, this is going to be your third house take place. This eclipse will take place in your third house of siblings, close friends, neighbors, cousins, short distance travel, and also like any vehicles that you have. Ego, Archangel Jophiel, a false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. So Libra, rising, sun, and moon too. Very interesting. Maybe you're feeling that This is the first thing I heard, well, maybe second, that you may be feeling trapped. Maybe some of you have been wanting to travel further, and because of certain restrictions, you can't. And I'm hearing like a reminder of, what about a short trip? I know it may not be as fulfilling. What about, like, say if you wanted to go to China and you can't now, and I know this isn't the same, I'm not trying to say it is, but maybe you have a Chinatown area in where you live. I know I do here in San Francisco. So things like that, getting a book, right, on some local spots in your area. Maybe there's like stuff that you can bike to, okay? And if it's really cold outside for you, bringing in the foods of the place you want to go. But I'm really hearing like, you're not trapped, you just think you're trapped, which, yeah, of course. And yeah, hearing really that possibly something that you may need to release with this eclipse is, yeah, you're over negative or fear-based thoughts. Also focus on material things as we come around the holidays. I'm really hearing like, if they are safe people and it feels good to you, leaning into those relationships over gift giving, right? Libra, you love your relationships, right? Maybe you're being called to check in on neighbors or to reignite a relationship with a sibling or cousin, reaching out to them, getting together with them, and really having the focus be on your connection as opposed to like gift giving, right? As opposed to material things. I'm also hearing, you know, since the third house can rule our vehicle, if you have a vehicle, knowing that because you have a vehicle, you're never really trapped. Like, get out, go for a drive. I'm feeling like short of breath, like you may need fresh air. Excuse me, and now I'm burping it up. Air, I'm also hearing like less talking and more listening, more releasing the need to fill every silence, right? You're not the one who has to always do that. You're also not always the one that has to create balance in your relationships, although I know you feel like you do. Maybe you do. It's your thing. But if it's starting to make you feel isolated, there's the word I was looking for, knowing that you can take a break from that role, okay? Also, watching out for any addictive tendencies on or around this eclipse. It's, you know, always recommended to try to lessen the amount of like caffeine, alcohol, stimulants that we have around this time. And honestly, in this month in general, just because it's a, you know, we moved from Scorpio season, and Scorpio is all about the connection, the veil, you know, Samhain and Halloween, and the veil being thin between, you know, like our dead loved ones and us. Well, Sagittarius is really about the veil being thin between us and God, however you see it, us and our spirituality. So, taking that into consideration, sometimes when we don't have a good relationship, a close relationship with something greater than ourselves, and I am speaking from experience here, so no judgment, we turn to stimulants, we turn to alcohol, we turn to these other things, because what do? Essentially, they numb us, and they, you know, help us dissociate from the harder things going on, but sometimes they can bring us into those other realms, and I'm not opposed to doing that safely, but if you have any addictive personality or issues, then taking it easy on those. if you feel trapped in a relationship, knowing that you don't have to continuously, and it could be a cousin, sibling relationship, familial relationship, that you feel stuck. I'm feeling more that than a romantic relationship, but if that resonates, check into that. You don't always have to be the one that holds it together. Are you constantly reaching out to them and they're never reaching out to you? Are you constantly offering support to them and they're never offering support to you? Eclipses have a way of like washing that shit out. So, this eclipse may show you that you're not trapped, how you're not trapped, how you can leave. Sometimes we're really blind to those things. So you may get a little insight on how you can just go to the door, turn the knob, open it, and walk the fuck out. If that resonates. And it doesn't have to be some like final leave, right? It can be like, I'm taking time away from you, right? It doesn't have to be so final. Okay, I gotta stretch my legs out. Okay. So yeah, and releasing fear-based thoughts, also releasing the idea that like, I don't know why this came to mind, I'm just gonna say it, that releasing the fear that like everything that you do, and you know, Libra is really all about their, maybe not as much as Taurus, but about their things, about beauty and life. There's beauty everywhere. You can tap into it everywhere, not just in your stuff. Okay, so maybe for gift giving, instead of getting more stuff, more jewelry, more makeup, that's all good too, and if you want it, you know, great. But if you're feeling unfulfilled by it, you know, asking for a trip instead, you know, something that brings you out in nature. Yeah, and releasing negative and fears-based thoughts, one of my favorite ways to do that. You know, if we can get to the point where we're intervening, is to intervene with a positive one, right? And that's kind of like a great universal way to clear it and cleanse it, because words matter and what we say and think matter. So if we do have one of those thoughts, you know, people say replacing it, but you can just say it in after. So if you're like, I don't know, you have really negative thought around a relationship with anybody, third house, like, oh, I'm never going to be close to my sister, I wish I was, kind of coming back around and saying, the opportunity may be available for me to be close with my sister at some point in time, right? Making sure you believe it, not going too far and saying, I will, unless you feel that way, okay? So adjusting it to your own needs. Okay, Libra, rising, sun, and moon. We're going to move on to Scorpio. This eclipse is happening in your second house of values, of self-worth, material things, finances. So, issues that come to the forefront with that, I'm hearing that is your only card, and not to take the other ones. All right, so 5 of water, things not turning out the way you hoped, not seeing the positive in a situation, crying over spilled milk. Spilled. Have you invested in something financially that has not panned out the way that you thought it would? I'm hearing that annoyingly, it's for your best and highest good. It wasn't meant to, okay? There is a positive to this situation. You just may not see it yet. Sometimes putting all our hopes and desires and effort into thinking that something is going to turn out the way that we think it should really closes the door on what's meant for you. Your self-worth, how do I want to say this? Is your self-worth wrapped up only in monetary exchange, only in what you make, what you earn? This is really a call to reevaluate that. And it's also a call to, however you can, it's so annoying to hear, I know, see your losses truly as a gain. Like, you know, it's, and 5 water suit in this deck is cups in the tarot, okay? So 5 of water, you may have heard, you know, if you know the tarot, that it's often, maybe you can't see it, yes, there's spilled milk, or like water, right? There's 3 cups that are spilled, but there are 2 that are still standing. So I'm wondering if you can really look at what maybe has been lost, or what maybe the eclipse is coming to cleanse you of, as not a loss, and to see what's still remaining. Like, first I was thinking of a friend example, but it's pulling me back toward that for some reason, probably because 2nd house. Financial investments, maybe you made like several financial investments and 3 of them didn't work out, and those were the 3 like most expensive investments, so you're not really thinking about these, but these have such great potential. These are still standing. Something is still working, and it's likely when something does get rinsed out and cleaned, like there is still something standing. I'm also seeing like people, going back to what I said before, if you had, it doesn't have to necessarily be these numbers, but if you have 5 friendships and you lost 2 friends, 3 friends, what about the 2 that are still standing in support of you? What about the people who do still care? If you're overly focused on what you lost, you'll miss out on what you still have and what you have coming to you, okay? Water is an emotions, really based on emotions here. So I'm really seeing it as it's something that you're feeling, and because you're so deep in your feelings about it, you're a water sign, right? That you're not seeing the facts. You're not seeing it for reality, for what it is. Releasing, what do you need to release? I didn't ask, but it's coming through. Releasing the need to have all these standing and full at once all the time. Releasing having a perfect plan, and it's going to work out this way, and it's going to go that way, and if it goes any other way, like, I'm screwed, I'm going to flip out. That sounds like me. Changing that perspective, allowing things to change as necessary and needed. Okay, that's what I'm really hearing with that. Yeah, also really hearing like, you are worthy. You are worthy of monetary exchange, of abundance, of all the things that you want with, you know, regardless, of course it's going to take hard work and sacrifice, but not constant. Not constant, okay? Seeing if there's any other words that resonate. Yeah, really just being lost in your own world without recognizing that you do still have these 2 things standing, or something, or support. So maybe taking just like a quick reevaluation of your life, or this issue, this specific thing that's going on. I feel like it's hitting some of you like, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And being like, okay, how can I look at this in a totally different light? What is still there? okay? Maybe your car got broken into and everything is gone, and then you went and you looked again and you realize they left your special crystal rock. That wasn't really a great example, but seeing what's still left, right? Maybe there's a divorce, there's a breakup, a situation, and trying to see what good has come out of it. I even hate myself saying it, to be honest, but it's the vibe of this card. Would love to hear if that resonates in the comments. I'm hearing that that's all for Scorpio, because that's a lot. Okay. So, I'm only going to do this for Scorpio. No, unless they say later. I'm hearing that I should pull an Oracle Guidance card. Mary Magdalene, unconditional love. Love yourself, others in every situation, no matter outward appearances. And if you're like, it's not fair, I want an Oracle card, my readings are on sale right now, so you can get one more in depth. And I feel like with the Five of Water, it's kind of like an FU card. No, it's not an FU card. It's a hard card to have. So I want a little something for you, Scorpio risings, to feel like, yeah, don't worry what others think or say. Try to heal this situation with love. I'm also, really hearing like a self-forgiveness. Maybe you did make some mistakes with finances, or maybe it's not even in that realm, but have some of you just been really taking a huge hit on your self-worth and the relationship between what you produce and your self-worth, okay? All right. So, Sagittarius, this eclipse is happening in your sign. I gotta stop sitting like this. My legs are not having it. Okay. So, first house of self, ego, appearance. Okay, first house really covers personality, characteristics, also covers like big life. You know, any change that we create in our life, our ego, our first house in eclipses there can signify really changes to identity. That's what I wanted to say. Okay. Two for Sagittarius. Balance, Archangel Zadkiel. The need for balance and moderation, cooperation and compromise. Wait for perfect timing. Okay, so just drinking that image in. Before I talk about this one and being called to announce this one as well, 10 of Earth. A very happy family life, financial security, finding magic in the little things in life. Love that. Yeah, so I'm hearing work-life balance, time alone, balance with time with others and family. Okay. Where have maybe you been avoiding making a compromise, compromising yourself? Maybe you've been over-compromising. Balance and moderation is likely something that will bring you more if you've been seeking more financial security. Balancing out those things, kind of like we were talking about Virgo with their fourth house eclipse. Bringing balance to those areas of your life so that they're both equally fed. Okay? Doing your research, waiting, taking your time on any decisions, moving forward with you know, possible identity changes that you're going through. Again, you know, we're talking about Sagittarius, ninth house, so it could be like a, you know, a change of spiritual beliefs. You know, maybe your spiritual identity is changing. Yeah, also, you know, since this is your season and Jupiter is your ruling planet, there is always that issue of excess. So being mindful of that, especially around the holiday season, and calling in and on moderation where possible. Just like looking at the image, they're like pouring from one cup to another, but it's almost like really shy, secret like having some more. And just really feeling into that and making sure that the choices that you're making when you're, whether it's eating something, ingesting something, participating in something, that it really feels aligned and good, okay? And that's the whole idea of waiting for perfect timing, kind of like we were saying with Gemini in the 7th house, like, Libra in the 3rd house, not being afraid, we were saying about Gemini, not being afraid to say no to things that aren't super resonant because you're afraid other stuff won't come in. It will, and the universe always provides and rewards us when we can wait. I'm not going to say it punishes us when we don't. We learn our lessons. We're reminded of what we really want, likely. Yeah, and I'm wondering if you've been worried, and, you know, Sagittarius is a fire sign that typically, you know, like the Aries and sometimes like the Leo, is really focused on that individuality, and especially since you have the eclipse coming up in this house, or happening in this house, there may be a struggle, there may have been a fear around, if you do lean into family time, family life, and those things, you will lose your identity. And this is, it's like saying you won't, just make sure for that balance of you time with the family time. And we're talking about this with Cancer and with Virgo, like making sure that you fill your cup before you fill everyone else's. It's important. I don't know why, but I'm like seeing specifically a man. I don't know why. Seeing a man get up and going to the gym before, like on Christmas Day. I don't know if it would be open on Christmas Day. Going out for a run on Christmas Day before getting together with the family and opening presents. Because this is something that feeds your soul. It's not selfish. There is a need for balance and moderation, because if you're too much in the family, that independent Sagittarian self might start screaming, and often we make bad choices. We start to blame the people in our lives because we're not getting enough of alone time, especially for someone like a fire sign who really needs it. Taking deep breaths. It's funny because we were talking about Gemini needing to do that too, and Sagittarius is on the axis, right? Gemini, Sagittarius axis, so the opposite sign really needing that breath, and maybe that's why I saw like the running outdoors. Feeding yourself that fresh air, right? Can bring clarity to, you know, what ways and to implement balance and moderation. And I'm really hearing balance and moderation between family and self and independence. And you're not losing your independence, but you may feel like you're losing your independence and having an identity crisis if you're always imbalanced and leaning, you know, very far into family time. Okay? Let's see if anything else wants to come up. I think, 14. Balance was first. any further words. Nothing that I feel that wasn't already said. I'll read these in case they resonate. Happiness, inheritance, passing on knowledge, a sense of completion. It may be really joyful for you to pass on a tradition on Christmas, around Christmas, holidays, or to pass on an inheritance to a child. Maybe you might be receiving one, could be financial or otherwise. So releasing, as far as releasing for Sagittarius, eclipse in the first house, I'm really hearing like releasing the idea that you cannot be, your own person within a family unit. You are your own individual person for a family unit. I don't know why I'm really feeling like heavy man father energy, but I'm just saying that. I don't know. But you haven't lost who you are. You haven't lost yourself as Joe Schmo, the awesome like runner or businessman or whatever. You are still there. It's just a matter of balancing it with these things. So we're releasing the idea that you can't exist as an individual within your group of loved ones, within your family. I think we're breaking that down as a society these days anyways, right? It was our parents and our parents' parents that get lost. But I think with any becoming a parent or anything, you feel that, I think there is a natural loss of identity with that. And maybe that's what's been going on. Did you just become a new parent? Did you just enter a new group? Or are you just really like into family stuff and you feel like you're losing your identity because of it? Releasing that fear and knowing that you can always come back to your individual self and knowingness. Okay. I was going to do another shuffle, but I heard this was for you, Capricorn, 12th house of endings. Even though it's a new moon, this is a final series in the Sagittarius Gemini axis eclipse series. So, and it's a solar eclipse, so the sun is going to be blocked out by the moon. So much more ending vibes than it is new moon vibes. I wouldn't necessarily, you can do what you want. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing manifestations and burning and ritual, like I said earlier, because this is more about just letting things end. So Capricorn rising, sun, and moon, you may really feel like the door is closing on something here. Okay? 12th house is also known as self of undoings, the ruminations, the things, the way we get in our own way, the things we do to get in our own way. I really like to look at the 12th house as pre-birth, what happened to like in the womb experiences. You also got water, 7 of water, so very womb-like. And also past life karmas, some people believe, are ruled by the 12th. All right, Capricorn rising, sun, and moon. 7 of water, a complex decision. The need to do research. Stop procrastinating. And I feel like I see the chakras in there. So if you feel called to do Reiki or get your chakras balanced, aura color reading, those are all coming through. The 12th house is very like ruled by Pisces. It's also about those things we do for solitude, to unwind, to take care of ourselves. So any of those things. I'm hearing that you know what you need to do. Releasing the fear around the reaction that you will get, the things that you're closing the door on, and the things that you will lose. Okay, we talked about this earlier many times with some other readings, other sign readings, that when you can make space, you know, when things are dying off and leaving and going, some people believe that the 12th house rules death. Again, it could be like death of a, you know, former spiritual self. Just honoring that things do need to leave in order for the new to come, right? It's okay, James. I don't have the music playing for us. I have the music playing for James to distract from noises from the outside world, because he's very, he's a guard dog, so he might bark in a minute. It's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. James, come here. In your bed. I don't have any treats here. Okay, so, James, come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Come on. It's okay. So, we're almost done. 3 more to do, including Cap. Okay, so a complex decision, the need to do research, stop procrastinating. I'm hearing like, James, you're killing my vibe, bro. Okay, hang on. There's James. And the treats were here all along. Good. Okay, we're back. Sorry for the pause, Capricorn. So, when I was taking that break, yeah, I'm feeling like something is coming to an end. Something needs to end. But before moving forward, researching your next step. No more. Researching your next step, your next move. And this may be a really powerful double ending for you. Like I said, this eclipse, yes, it's new moon, but it feels more like full moon status because it's the last in the Sagittarius Gemini series, and the sun is going to be blocked by the moon, right? So it may feel very powerful and sweeping. You may already know what it is. It may not be something physical, it may be mental. And again, because Sagittarius rules spirituality, schools of thought, study. Maybe it's a career ending that you're moving into, and you are looking to enter, a new career. And it feels like this has been a long time coming for you. But just because it's been in your head doesn't necessarily mean, again, that everybody else knows about it. And it also doesn't mean that you already know what you want to move on to be next. And sometimes that's frustrating. Like, I'm hearing that you know something needs to end, but you don't know where to go next. So that's where the research is really going to come in for you. You may be faced with like a sudden decision that it's not, I mean, it's probably not sudden. It's probably something that's been ruminating for a while, but maybe it feels sudden. So being really gentle with yourself. Looking out for addictions, leaning towards certain substances or online shopping, television, looking out for doing that, releasing the need to lean into those things because you're afraid to end this and move forward. If that makes sense. It doesn't have to be that deep. It could be something really light. But it could feel deep, again, because of this double ending feeling, since it's for you in your 12th house. It could really feel heavy. You could be confused on how to move forward. Or stuck in the idea that by just, like ignoring it, it'll be fine and end on its own. It's okay to be part of the process that moves things forward. And I don't really like that. Stop procrastinating. It's not really trauma-informed, but releasing the idea that things will take care of itself and you don't have to do anything. Even if it is privately behind closed doors in your mind, which is very 12th house. Like, maybe you're not ready to outwardly say that it's ending, but putting that on paper or putting that thought process somehow privately, having your own little experience where you acknowledge that you're done, you're ready to move on. Something I heard the other day, I think it was from Jenna Zoe, Human Design, like, often when we are in a current pattern, job, life, home, situation that we know we're ready to leave, we can simply say that, like, hey universe, I'm just here right now because this is where I'm at. I feel like this is temporary for me. I'm feeling ready to move on. What can you help show me that's helps me move in that direction? Acknowledging that you're not where you want to be and you're ready for something to end, but you're not sure of how to move forward with that ending. And remember, after 12th house, after endings, come new beginnings. I said I wasn't going to do it again, but I'm hearing Capricorn. It's 5 of water and 7 of water can be tough energy. So something to help you along. Athena, inner wisdom, you know what to do. I said that already to you, Capricorn rising, sun and moon. You know what to do, most likely. Trust your inner wisdom. Take appropriate action without delay. Okay, stop procrastinating. Now, originally I had said I don't really like that, but hearing that twice, especially with the eclipse energy, it's like, do it your way before it's like done for you. You know what I mean? Have some sort of say in this. Don't let the eclipse totally eclipse you, right? Oh my god. Various meanings of this card. Just stop procrastinating. I can't. I would love to hear from a Capricorn rising, sun, or moon if you're procrastinating about something, because this is very powerful. Stop giving away your power to others. Trust your gut. Don't second guess yourself. You are correct. Okay? Noticing reoccurring ideas. So maybe it's not enough to do that private thinking that this is over and that you're ready. But maybe you need to, so I want to leave that on the table. But it really feels like, you know, take appropriate action without delay. Stop procrastinating. I know a Capricorn rising. I might have to bend their ear and see how they're feeling about this. And I would love to hear from you if you are. If you want to go deeper into any of this, my readings are on sale until Sunday at midnight. I just can't get over that. Stop procrastinating. Stop procrastinating. Take appropriate action without delay. Need some water after that one. James has his back turned to me and he's sad. So, James, we only have 2 more and then we can go play. Aquarius, this eclipse is happening for you in your 11th house of community, technology, greater good for humanity. Groups, group thought, organizations, political affiliations. Okay. Aquarius rising, also sun and moon. You got 6 of air. Things are looking up. The end of a difficult situation. Taking a trip. Okay, so just drinking that image in. You got the unicorns. I'm hearing to read the other one first before I go into anything. You also receive the World, Archangel Michael. A job well done. Joy, contentment, and gratitude. The path toward enlightenment. And this is your own house, Aquarius. This eclipse is happening in your own house, so I think even more stronger vibes. Path toward enlightenment. Possible shifts in your spiritual path, in your thinking, which I think a lot of us have been kind of like, oof, had shifts in that this past year. We've learned a lot of stuff we didn't know before. Maybe it's changed our mind. Maybe it's changed the way that you show up in your community and groups, maybe in online and technology, using technology. Maybe you are incorporating technology into your life more. Maybe you are disconnecting with technology and are done with it, or taking breaks from it as needed. But I'm also hearing like being recognized or honored by a larger group. And being recognized by a larger group may involve taking a trip. You may be taking a trip. I'm also hearing like online trip, which isn't like a trip. You may be getting involved with, larger community as opposed to third house, a local community. And it could be, that you're taking a trip, or that you're getting more connected with people through online endeavors. Okay. Somewhat similar energy to Taurus for Aquarius, that this has been like you've had a lot going on this year. You've had a lot, maybe you've been required to show up in your community, in your family a lot. I'm hearing too, taking care of them, spending time with them, and you're finally moving out of that right into a better situation. So what do they need to release? I'm hearing like basically just releasing whatever was built up over the past year, whatever the eclipse series has touched on. So looking to Sagittarius and Gemini in your chart, Aquarius, and seeing the patterns, because likely there'll be lots of patterns, and this is the end. The difficult situation of that access is ending for you, and maybe you'll celebrate it by taking a trip. I'm hearing that it could be a trip to like a spiritual place, right? To enter that path of enlightenment. I'm going to look for any air. I don't think we've gotten any air. So that's kind of another reason air is swords. So the air signs, which Aquarius is, this may be something that's happening within you, like not necessarily outwardly, right? Air rules mental thoughts. Yeah, I'm hearing like the end of like a tough emotional time. It says end of an illness. I think it was end of an illness for someone in your life, but that's what felt more resonant. And really hearing, okay, so what do you need to release? Release that time. Release that this past year. Release that burden. It's no longer with you. It's no longer coming with you into your new life after the eclipse season. I don't think we have another Gemini Sagittarius eclipse axis for like 8 years or something like that. Maybe longer. So I could be totally wrong. You can look it up if you want to know. But just knowing that that's not, this time to work on that or reevaluate that is not going to come up until that time again. Being asked to cleanse the energy again because we've been talking about a lot of stuff. Be careful with the pine. Pine will be on fire. But great idea for if you do want to do a ritual for eclipse, you know, cleansing with herbs is nice, or salt water. Drinking lemon water to cleanse. Drinking lots of water. Okay. Yeah, I feel like, what was I saying? It's the end of maybe you taking care of an illness or somebody. Also, possible end of conflict that you've had in your life. I mean, we all have conflict, but maybe one that has to do with the Gemini Sagittarius axis. So looking to that point in your chart again. Let's look up any additional words for the world. Tons of major arcana today. Yeah, cosmic awareness. I like that, especially with Sagittarius, right? It may be like receiving clarity on your spiritual path too. Okay. And maybe that's the conflict that you had to leave behind, or that you're leaving behind. I'm also hearing like recognition of your talents within a group setting. Maybe they're recognizing it, maybe you win an award, something like that could happen on the eclipse or around, because eclipses span out sometime, not always just when the eclipse is direct or happens. Yeah, and I'm feeling like, I don't know, if you're in some sort of sales, where if you do sales where you hit this mark, then you can win a trip. I'm feeling like that may be some of you. Okay? I'm also hearing that that's enough. That's all that needs to be said for Aquarius. Aquarius, tough time is behind you. Leave it in the past. Leave it until the Gemini Sagittarius axis comes up again, because that's when you're being asked to, I don't know why I'm taking that away. Well, I took the other one away. That's when you're being asked to review it next, not now. Okay? We're moving on to Taurus, Scorpio axis, right? So, for eclipses. So leaving this past where it needs to be in the past. Okay? Pisces rising, this eclipse is happening in your 10th house of career, reading for Pisces rising, sun and moon. Okay. Career, also public image. Public role in the public. No, it's not it. Okay. No. 2 for you, Pisces. 3. No, that's not for you. 7 of fire. Man with the fire. Defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground. Choose your battles wisely. So drinking that in. No, I'm going to hold on this for a second because what I want to say is... Oh, fine. Yeah, I know. Sorry. You know, maybe you're coming up against, and this is career, right? A 10th house as opposed to 6th house is like job. I was thinking of that comedy set that somebody does where he's talking about there's a daily job and there's a career. And he's talking about how he used to work at Red Lobster and he would scrape the shrimp off and look at his clock. And it would be, you know, he would think a half hour passed and only 10 minutes passed. Anyway, just wanted to say that because I feel like maybe there's been disagreement about higher up. Excuse me. Between you and the higher ups in your career, or maybe there's a career shift or change that you want to move into. Maybe this pandemic has affected your career position and you're being asked to get the job or something and you don't want to get it. Stand your ground. Defend your beliefs and decisions, okay? Trying not to let career aspirations trump who you are, what you stand for. We don't stand for anything. I don't know what the end of that sentence is. It sucks. Life doesn't feel as good, right? We feel, at least for me, I feel like I can't count on myself when I don't follow through with those things that I have said that I stand for and believe in, right? Releasing fear on the loss of clientele, on the loss of money, on the loss of business for standing your ground. That's what I'm hearing coming through. Also, you know, kind of going back to that Aries idea of making sure you're choosing your battles wisely, making sure that how you are communicating this information and standing your ground and your belief is coming from a place of knowingness. I was going to say calm. It's not always easy to be calm with everything going on in the world, but not having to be like volatile about it, right? There's a way that we can go about it that is productive and honorable and graceful. Sometimes I don't know, I fear saying that word because women are so always expected to be graceful, but if you feel like you lean heavier on coming from anger, trying to come from peace. You also got 8 of Earth, Pisces. Skilled work is rewarded, learning all there is to know about topic, and going back to school. So this eclipse might bring up that desire for you to learn something new, for you to go back to school. It's also a reminder that if you want to make this your career, learning all there is to know about the topic, studying. You might have this idea, especially with Pisces, that you're just naturally good at everything, and it's likely that you are naturally good at stuff, but it's a reminder that even the best people who feel that everything comes from within has to look to other sources sometimes for understanding, for growing their base of knowledge on a subject. Natural talent is rewarded, but so is skilled work. So is studied work, right? Natural talent is great, but you know, there's so many examples of like films and stories we've heard in the world where you know, people who are putting in the most work and the most time are likely to see the most results. Here's where I think the releasing is coming in for you, Pisces rising, sun and moon too. Where are you afraid to release the idea that you have to be already all-knowing and good at something? Okay? Because you don't have to be, and this may be a time of stepping into learning more. Where can you release the idea that talent can only come from natural abilities and not from learning? Right? Also releasing fear around standing in your beliefs. It's not easy right now to have an opinion in this world right now. And maybe you're afraid to share what those are. I'm also hearing like finding your soul family, finding your people, finding your community, seeing the people who are speaking your similar truths, like either online or in life or whatever, and connecting with them and surrounding yourself more with them, because the more that you surround yourself with the truth seekers and speakers, the more that you will likely feel confidence to seek and speak your truth as well. And you can call on, Let's see if there's any additional word associations. Do we do that yet? I don't think we did. So 7 of fire, additional word associations. Learning to say no, okay? Coworkers, bosses, big career decisions. Challenging those in power, which you have every right to do. Stepping into that leadership role, that owning, that knowingness of what you believe to be right. Any additional associations that we like or want to see for Earth? Flipped right to it. Yeah, really being diligent and really with your eyes and your mind and your heart on attention to detail as you do these things, and not just relying only on your natural talent and wisdom and intuition, which you definitely have, but remembering that taking the time to really immerse yourself in what it is that you want to do, it will bring you closer to your dreams as well. That felt like a lot, right? Light some more. Put these legs out though, because they're hurting. Yeah, we're done, okay? We're just gonna light some herbs. I want to thank you all for being here, for joining me on my channel, for the support that you have given me by purchasing my readings, by being here and listening, by showing up to my lives on Instagram. I am really forever in gratitude for you, because you are all allowing me to do my soul's work. If you enjoyed this and you would like to know further, much more detailed about how this eclipse might affect you, all my tarot and oracle card readings are on sale until this Sunday at midnight. And I hope you got what you needed. Take what resonates, leave the rest. happy solar eclipse in Sagittarius, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.